is going to be used for something. I don't know what, but I'm collecting the kelp that the water washed up. And it's very heavy because I have a lot of it. And I guess I'm going to drag it back to where those people are. I don't know if it's a village or a city, but I'm going to bring the kelp back there.
Where does it look like you put the kelp? Do you put it in something to drag, or do you get a sense?
I think I'm using the kelp, like smaller strands of the kelp, to tie it up into a bundle. And then I'm going to take the tied up end and drag it. And I have to go up the cliff. So it's kind of hard because I have to drag some of this kelp. I have to climb up with this big heavy kelp.
Tell me about that. How do you do that?
I think I have no shoes on, so my feet are gripping the rocks. And oh, wait a second. Maybe I have it like tied to my body. Like maybe I use the kelp to make a strap around my shoulders, and I'm carrying it on my back because I need my hands to climb. I need my hands and my feet to climb up the cliff. And I'm dragging the kelp on my back like I fashioned a backpack out of some strands of the kelp so I can carry it.
Do you see your hands?
Yeah, I see my hands.
What do they look like?
They're really little. And my fingers are very slender. They're petite.
What about the rest of your body? Can you see the rest of your body?
I'm petite. And I'm very young. And I'm barefooted. And I'm dark skin. I'm very tan from the sun. And I'm very nimble, so I can climb up pretty quickly.
Wow, you can climb up this cliff quickly?
Yeah, I have a path that I take. There's a route that I take to climb up and down. So my feet and my hands know where they should go. I've done it so many times that I can do it even without looking. My hands know exactly where to grab so that I can climb up.
What does this path look like? Or what does the route look like?
The cliff is pretty steep, but I've found the least steep place to climb up and down. And the rocks are kind of craggy, but they're dry, so they're not slippery. And there's all sorts of crevices where I can put my feet and then drag my body to climb up the cliff. And there's some plants and trees also growing out, so there's some branches that I can use to help hoist myself up. And when I get to the top, I kind of have to flip my body over because the kelp is on my back, so I kind of flip it over so the weight goes down. onto the top of the cliff first, and then somehow I kind of roll over and get up to a flat spot, and then I can stand up again.
What do you do once you get to the top?
And then I'm heading back to those other people that I heard. And I'll have to walk through the forest to get there. But there's a path that I take, that I always take. So I just take the same path that I'm very familiar with the kelp.
What does the forest look like?
It's kind of sandy. And there's pine straw on the ground. And there's big trees, so it's when I get to the top of the cliff, it's completely sunny and I can look out to the ocean forever. But I turn around and there's like a wall of trees, and I just enter it, and it's dark inside the forest. There's pockets of light here and there, but the trees are pretty tall.
Wow.
And it's pretty flat through the forest. It's not very hilly. So I take this path with the seaweed.
What happens when you get back?
Well, I can hear the people, and it's the sound of their voices gets closer, so I know I'm getting close. And there's a clearing, and I come out of the clearing, and I see a whole village, and there's a fire, a big fire that people are around tending to. There's a lot of activity going on. So there's stuff going on everywhere. There's like little houses. It's like a village with all these little houses and lots of activity and people walking around paths, doing work, carrying things. And I bring the kelp over close to the fire. There's some drying racks there.
Oh.
So there are these wood drying racks. And I take the kelp bundle off, and then I put the kelp on the drying racks, because I am going to dry the kelp out.
Oh.
I don't know why I'm doing that, but that is part of my job.
And you said it looks busy there, and people are doing lots of different things. What does it look like other people are doing?
There's animals. There's some work animals that are carrying carts. And the men have, like, they're wearing, like, their hair is kind of like a bowl cut. Like, they have these short little bangs. It's kind of funny looking. And,
what do they look like?
they look like they have dark skin, and they're very dark eyes and black hair. And they're very angular and lean and fit.
Mm-hmm. What are they?
Everyone looks very fit and muscular.
What do people look like they wear on their bodies?
They look like they're wearing they look like they're wearing, the men look like they're wearing skirts made out of animal skins that are wrapped around, and maybe shoes too, some kind of shoes like boots made out of animal skin. And I don't know if they're wearing shirts or not. I don't think the young men are not wearing shirts. The women, I'm not sure, they're wearing clothes made out of animal skins too. And they're wearing boots made out of animal skins.
And what about you? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing a skirt, and I'm wearing something with fur on top of me, like a vest, but it's made out of fur.
How does it feel on your body?
It feels like it's keeping me warm, because it's a little bit chilly. I want to go near the fire, and the fire is very inviting. I'm a little bit chilly.
Oh, I see. And do you feel more masculine or more feminine? Can you tell?
I feel feminine. And I feel young. I feel like maybe I might be a kid. But I'm old enough to work because I'm very small, so I think I might be a child.
And do you get a sense as to how you spend your days there?
I'm looking for some other kids. I want to go play, but I'm still working on my 𝗂𝗃. It's kind of annoying that I have to do this, because what I really want to do is go find some other kids and go off away from all the people in the village working and just go play and do some fun things, like play make-believe in the forest.
Oh, tell me about that. What's that like?
I want to go and play pretend like we're animals, or pretend like we're from another place, and we're not having to work all the time. I want to play like princesses in castles. I want to play make-believe. I want to live. I just want to not have to work over there in the village so much every now. I just want to be a kid.
And after you do your work, are you able to play or no?
I'm going to sneak away, but I feel like I'm expected to keep doing some other work.
Oh, like what other work?
I feel like I'm expected to start cooking some food.
Oh.
And I just spent the whole morning getting this 𝗂𝗃 and bringing it back to the village. It was a lot of work, so I feel like I deserve a break right now. So I wanna sneak away.
What do you do?
I sneak away. I sneak out and I'm looking for my friends that I play with sometimes.
Oh, and how do you go about finding them?
Just kind of like everyone is so busy there that if I just tell myself to be invisible, I can kind of dart around the village and nobody sees me.
Oh.
So I'm just kind of like crouching behind huts and all this activity is going on around me. And then, I find someone, he's a boy, and he's in his house, and I'm kind of motioning him with my hand to come with me.
Uh-huh.
And he gets out. He has to sneak away too. So we kind of run off to the back of the village, the other side. And we run off to go into the forest to play. He seems like he has blonde hair.
Tell me more about what he looks like or what you feel he looks like.
He looks like a cartoon character. He doesn't look real.
What makes you say that?
He looks like a Disney animation character. Like he's got a really big head and he's got a really dopey look on his face.
Huh.
Like he's 4 or 5 years old and kind of blonde hair. And he just wants to like, there's a meadow, like a field of grass. So he just wants to roll around in the field and kind of chase butterflies and pick flowers.
What about you? What do you do?
I'm just watching him and he's making me laugh. He's like amusing me because it's almost like a puppy dog. He's just jumping around and playing and it's making me laugh so hard. I feel like he's like my little pet or something. Like I just took him to the field to go play.
Anything else look interesting about that?
There's somebody watching us and I don't like it.
Who's watching you?
There's a man watching us and I don't like it and I want to get away. He's scaring me.
What does this man look like? Tell me more.
He's got beady eyes. And he's standing at the other side on the edge of the forest. And he's kind of standing behind a tree, but he knows that I know that he's there. And he's just staring with his beady eyes.
Oh. What do you do next?
I grab the boy. And I don't tell him what I see. I said, come on. Let's see who can get back to the village faster. And we both run through the woods and towards the village and get back as fast as we can.
What happens next?
We go back and we're safe. We're safe there because there's other people around, but I know he's watching me.
Do you get a sense as to why he's watching you?
He wants to hurt me.
Why do you think he wants that?
I think he likes me.
Oh.
He wants to hurt me.
No. Do you tell anyone?
No, I don't know who to tell.
I see. So what do you do about this?
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to go off by myself anymore. I always want to be with someone.
Tell me more about this man. Does he live in the same place that you do or somewhere else?
I am not sure. I think he might live right there on the outskirts. I think he's out right there. I think he takes from the village.
Oh, tell me more.
I think he's got some problems.
What makes you say that?
Because they realized it in the village that he had some problems and that he couldn't be a part of this village. So they pushed him out.
Oh, wow.
But he doesn't want to leave. He wants to come back. And he sees me. And he's smitten with me.
Oh, I see.
And he just, he's like living between. He's not living there, but he won't leave. So he's like this presence and he's menacing.
I see.
And I don't like him at all.
And so you always make sure you have somebody with you?
I want to make sure I have someone with me. I have to protect myself. I need to make sure that I'm not alone.
What about when you get the kelp?
I can't do that anymore. That was the last time that I can go and do that by myself. I realized that he's been watching me for a long time, but that was the first time that I saw him, and then it all clicked.
How long has he been watching you?
At least a year. And now I think back to all of the times I was doing things and maybe I felt someone watching me and it was him.
Oh.
So I had moments of feeling freedom and just being in the moment of finding kelp and collecting it and the ocean air. And then I would have the feeling of someone watching me. And now I realize that it must have been him.
Wow.
I don't like him.
What happens next?
Oh, I feel like I should run away.
Tell me about that.
I feel like nobody's going to keep me safe there. And that I need to get away from this guy. So I should plan to run away.
I see.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I just don't want the feeling of someone watching over me like that anymore.
And what is your place like where you stay? Do you have a family?
I do have a family, but they almost seem like they're just shadows. like there's a house.
What's your house like?
It's dark. There's a doorway, a door that closes. It's got low ceilings and a thatched roof. It has some windows that are just openings, but we keep them closed. So it's very dark inside, and it's seems like there's a dirt floor. I don't understand why there would be a dirt floor, because I don't see any dirt, but it feels like a dirt floor.
Oh.
And there's piles of pine straw for beds.
Are there any smells inside that you notice?
It smells kind of like, it smells like burnt wood, like fire. It smells a little bit like campfire. There's hardly anything in the house. It's just for sleeping.
Where do you sleep there?
I sleep on the floor in the corner, and it feels like I just got my period. I just got my period. I'm in a lot of pain. I have a lot of cramps.
Tell me more.
I just find a piece of cloth and I wrap it around myself. I know what it is.
You do? How do you know what it is?
Someone told me this was going to happen. And maybe a grandmother?
Oh.
I don't know if my mother is still alive, because I just see a shadow. I don't see a person.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a grandmother. She's working. She's always busy working, making fires, cooking food.
What do you do when you first get your period and you're in pain?
I find some cloth that I wrap around me, and I just lie down. And I know that I can feel the cloth getting soaked up. I know I'm going to have to change the cloth. And I'm thinking I want to run out into the forest and dig a hole and bury it at night when everyone's sleeping, because I'm embarrassed. But how am I going to do that? Because that man might be there.
Oh.
I don't know what to do. I think I just have to lay here and be in discomfort, because I really don't want to go out there.
Wow.
I think I'm just gonna let the cloth soak up, and I'm gonna just leave my bed, because I don't want to leave.
Oh.
My father's in the hut sleeping too. He really doesn't talk to me. He's very distant.
What's your father like?
He's very strong, and he's very heartbroken because my mother died.
Do you know how your mother died?
I don't know. I don't know how she died. But since she died, he's a different person. And he's just going through the motions of life. He doesn't have the love for me that he had for my mother. And so he's neglecting me, and my grandmother is caring for me. She too is heartbroken. And so nobody is loving me. I'm all by myself. Even though it seems like I have a family. They are living in their own grief. And they do not have the capacity to care for me. So I feel that it would be okay if I just left.
So what do you do?
I start planning. I start hiding food. Like, we're drying out a lot of the food. I think there's some meat too, maybe some fish. And we're drying it out, dehydrating it. So that we can keep it for a long time. And all of the food that gets dried out is for everyone in the village. So I have to start stealing, tucking away pieces in my skirt, and just slowly starting to build a stash of dried fish and seaweed, maybe some kind of meat, maybe it's rabbits too. So that I can have food to last me for where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going.
Where do you store it and hide it?
Under my bed. My bed's just a big pile of straw, pine straw. So I just stash it in the pine straw and cover it up with pine straw.
Oh.
I think I wrap it in something so the bugs don't get to it. I have some kind of pouch that I'm wrapping it in.
Tell me about it.
It's like a skin. It's like some sort of skin. And I just put the pieces in and I roll it like a tube. And I have some ties that I wrap around it. And then I keep it like that. That protects my food. But my stash is getting bigger. So I need to get some more pouches because it's filled that one up already.
Oh, wow. What happens next?
I'm pretending like everything is as usual, but I'm formulating my plan to run away. I I really want a friend to go with, but I don't think I can convince anyone to come with me. So I think I'm going to have to go alone.
What are your friends like?
I have that little boy who is just, he's just pure joy and love and fun and happiness. Oh, there's some girls who are my age, they don't like me.
Why?
I don't know, but they're not my friends.
What makes you say that? How do you know?
Because they're friends with each other and they talk and they do things together, and I can tell that they're talking about me.
Oh.
I'm kind of a loner. I feel like nobody likes me. Those girls my age don't like me. I have a friend who's a boy who's my age. I think he's my best friend.
Oh.
But he would not leave because he has a very loving family. And he's got a little brother that he takes care of. And he helps his mom. And his dad is training him. So he would never leave the village.
Oh.
And I can't even tell him my plan because he would tell his father, and his father would try to keep me going. I think his father is powerful. He might be one of the leaders of the village.
Tell me about the leaders. What are the leaders there like?
He's very busy. He's a strategist. This is not where we always have our village. We have to move once in a while. And
Why? Why do you have to move?
I think there might be some other people who are unfriendly.
Oh.
Maybe other villagers. They're separate village, so I don't know if they're enemies, but they're certainly unfriendly.
Oh.
And so we have to go. His job is to make sure that we are safe and that we have fighters. He makes sure that we have an army, that the men know how to fight, that we have weapons. He finds the location for the village and makes sure that we are in a protected area that's close to water and food, that has natural barriers so that we can see if some other people are going to attack us.
Oh, wow.
And he's also very kind, and he's looked up by everyone because he's so intelligent, smart, kind. He's like a natural leader. And my friend is his son, so he would never leave the village. And I can't confide in him my secret that I need to leave. I'm scared to tell him about that man staring at me. I should tell him, but for some reason I'm scared.
Do you know why you don't tell him?
It might be his brother.
Oh.
He might be related to him. He might have kicked him out because he knew that there was something wrong with this man. But I don't believe that he will kill him. I don't believe that he will, like, kick him out 100% completely because of their blood relation.
Oh.
So he has an emotional tie to this man. I don't feel safe telling him about my fears. Plus, he's only stared at me, but I just know he wants to hurt me. I don't know how I know, I just know. But he hasn't done anything to me yet.
Right. But you know it.
I know it. And I don't know how I can tell anyone who's going to believe me that I know this man is going to hurt me when he's never even touched me. I have no proof. And I'm scared that people aren't going to believe me. And that they'll just start talking about me and make fun of me.
I see.
So I feel like I'm choosing the most drastic option. And I don't know why.
And so what do you do?
I leave.
Tell me about that.
I've got a month's supply of food. I've got boots, I've got fur. I have kind of like a rucksack, like a sack to put stuff in.
Uh-huh.
I have like a canteen-like container for water. And I just sneak out one night.
Oh, at night?
Sleeping, yeah. I leave at night because I need to have enough time to get. I needed a head start because if I leave during the day, someone will notice right away. So I leave at nighttime, which I know is dangerous because of that man. But he sleeps too, so I'm just really hoping that he's going to be asleep.
And then where do you go? Which direction?
There's a creek, so I'll start off by following the water. And I'm heading inland away from the water, but up the coast, kind of like away from the water, but like up. And I'm really good at walking without making any sound.
Wow, how did you become good at this?
Oh, we all learned it from a very young age. We all learn how to walk we learned how to hunt. And to learn how to hunt, you need to learn how to walk without making a sound. Because all of the animals have very good hearing. So it's just something like talking or eating. It's just part of what we learned growing up. And I'm also very good at hunting. I have some arrows, so I can hunt rabbits and maybe some other small animals. So I'm walking very silently at the time. And I get so tired.
Tell me more.
I'm just tired and I want to sleep. I've walked for several hours. I'm still within an area that I know. I'm still familiar with the area.
Oh.
Because I've walked the whole area many times. So I know that there is a cave. So I go to the cave and I go inside and I curl up. And I fall asleep.
What happens next?
I'm woken up because a man came and followed me. And he's on top of me and I'm trying to fight him off. I'm kicking him and I'm fighting as hard as I can, but he's really strong. And he pins my hands down. And he's so disgusting. I can't believe he's doing this to me. I just hate this man so much. He is so disgusting. I want to kill him. I hate him. He's just so strong. He has both of my hands pinned down. And I'm crying. And I just close my eyes. And I pretend like I'm not there. I try to go someplace else so I don't have to be in that moment.
What happens when you do that?
I go to a dreamland.
What's the dreamland like?
It's so colorful. It's lavender and yellow and mint green. It's like Easter colors. And there's soft music. And I'm floating up. And then, oh, I see him. I see him down there. I see him and me. And I just like, I go down and I just grab him off of me. And I push him against the wall. It's like I push him against a rock. And he hits his head and there's a big gash. And he falls down and he's bleeding. Oh, gross.
What happens next?
I think I just killed him.
How did you kill him?
I grabbed, but it wasn't me, it was like the floating me.
Oh wow, tell me about that.
The floating me helped save me. The floating me came down and he was trying to rape me, and the floating me grabbed him from behind and pushed him against the wall, and his head hit a rock and it killed him instantly. And then the other me is just on the cave floor, and I don't know what happened. Like, I didn't know it was the floating me.
Wow.
I just know that a force came and saved me. A force came and saved me.
What did you think this force was?
I thought that this force was some sort of guide who was protecting me on my journey. And that it was my protector.
Wow.
And I have to get out of that cave now because there's that man and he's all bloody and disgusting. And I run out of there. I just run.
Where do you go next?
I go back to the village. I run back there because he's not there. But I go back to the edge of the village. And I get right there, and it's dawn, it's sunrise, and people are just starting to wake up. And I'm standing there, and I don't know if I should go back. Because even though that imminent threat is now gone, I feel like I'm going back to lovelessness. That the people who are there who are supposed to be my family are not really my family.
Right.
And that if I go back, even though that man isn't there, it's not, it just seems like I'm just going through the motions of life. And that there has to be something more than the feeling of being unloved. And I want to find it. So I don't go back. I turn around. It's right there. But I don't see a need to go back there anymore.
Where do you go next?
I follow the creek for a little bit, and then I turn off. I don't want to go by that cave again, where that man's dead body is. So I go in a different direction in the forest.
Oh.
And I keep walking, and it's a direction that I don't know, I'm not familiar with. So I'm just walking by myself for so many days. I eat and I sleep, and I haven't seen anyone for days. And it feels very lonely, but it's also feels better than it felt being in the village. So I'm just walking through the forest, and I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something to make me feel whole. I'm looking for a community.
What happens next?
I feel like the animals are okay with me passing through.
Tell me about that.
I feel like there might be some animals that might be dangerous, like a bear, but that when I pass through, they know, they can feel that I'm not a threat. It's like after I left the village, I started to have a better energy about myself.
Tell me about that.
The animals could feel it, and that they were okay with me. And they wouldn't run and hide when I walked on their path. They would, like a bunny rabbit, would just keep eating. The bear would just stay where it was. It would watch me, but it wouldn't run away or try to attack me. It was like the more time I spent in the forest, it was like I was giving the forest something, and it was giving me something. Like it was helping me find a way out of the forest.
That's amazing.
By being gentle with it.
How are you gentle with it?
I would hum and sing as I was walking.
Do you feel like that helped the forest?
Oh yeah, they love it when I sing to them. And they can tell the difference between a person who is singing just for themselves, just for their own pleasure, and someone who is singing or humming for everything around them.
Wow.
And I was singing and humming for everything around them, and they were loving it.
Did it respond in any way?
Yes, they always respond. The wind will come and rustle some leaves and make a harmony to the melody. The little animals will, some of the birds will maybe peck at the trees and add to the percussion. They all get to join in, they all want to join in too. And it makes them healthier. It makes them all live longer.
Tell me about that. Your singing actually helps them live longer?
Yes, because I'm singing with love and I'm putting love out into the forest and into the air. And it's going in through their bark, through their roots. The animals are absorbing it through their skin. So one song reverberates and helps everybody all around for miles and miles. Even a bunny 3 miles away can hear it and knows the difference between the song of someone singing who is giving the song as part of a gift to the forest, as opposed to someone who is just singing out of boredom or singing because they want to sing a song. It's all about the intention behind the sound. And the animals and the trees and the plants, they can all feel that intention. And when there's a positive intention, they absorb it. And when there's a negative intention, they have a way of closing up to protect themselves from absorbing the negativity, the negative vibrations from a song or sounds or voices with negative intentions.
How do they close themselves up?
Every species has a different way of closing themselves up. The animals will physically hide. A bunny will go back into its hole. A squirrel will find a hole in a tree where the tree bark is a natural barrier. The trees and the plants have to do something different because they can't move to a different location. So they have a way where they can manipulate their cells to create a natural barrier of protection which allows them and the negative reverberations from the negative intended sounds to bounce off of them instead of becoming absorbed into their bark or roots or leaves or stems.
What about you? Do you have any way of doing that there?
I don't have a way of doing that. I wish that I did, because if I had that, I would have been able to protect myself more from that man with the beady eyes. I have open pores, and as a child, I absorbed so many things. And so when there is negativity around me or an evil intention, I feel it very deeply. And sometimes I try not to feel it. But that doesn't work because I feel it anyways. And if I try not to feel it, I'm just covering up what I feel anyways.
Right.
And I can absorb the positivity from the nature around me too. So when the trees and the animals and the plants are feeling good, and when they're feeling healthy and vibrant, I can feel that too, and it makes me feel healthier.
Oh.
So I think actually that this journey through the forest was absolutely necessary for me to do in order to heal from the death of my mother and my loveless existence in the village and this violent man who tried to rape me. And I needed to heal from that. And that is what this journey walking through the forest is doing.
Wow.
It's a healing journey so that I can regenerate my cells, shed the stuff that's not working for me, and accept the gifts from the forest and the plants and the trees of their healing energy and absorb those into my pores.
That's amazing.
I know, right?
Is there anything else that happened on your healing walk through the forest?
I don't think so. It feels like it's just very like it was very gentle, like almost like a meditation.
What happened after the walk through the forest?
I walked through the whole forest and then I came to the edge. And there was a lot of golden light from the sun, and the sun felt so good because I was a little bit light deprived for a while there walking through the forest. So I felt all the energy of the sun, and I just lay down on the ground for a while and absorbed it all. It felt so good.
What did you do next?
I'm not sure. I feel like I found another village. I feel like I found another village.
Tell me about that.
I'm at the top of a mountain and I look down and there's a valley down there with a river running through it. And there's a village around the river. And it looks very pretty, like different from my village.
Mm-hmm.
My village, everything was like, it was kind of brown and beige and gray. But when I look down at this village, I'm seeing some cloth of bright colors like blue and red. I don't know if I've ever seen cloth that color before. I've seen flowers. It just looks very festive and fun. And there's a lot of grass in this valley. It's got trees, but it's got sunshine and grass, and it's got this beautiful river with rocks. So I walk towards it. I start walking towards it.
Tell me more.
I'm seeing hustle and bustle like my village.
What do the people look like there?
They have pale skin and they're wearing clothes like cloth, not animal skins. And yeah, they have their skin is paler than mine. They look like German. How I would imagine German people would look.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they're speaking a different language.
They're speaking your language?
No, a different language. And there's pigs. And I've never seen pigs before.
So what do you do?
I'm a little bit nervous because those pigs are big. And it looks a little bit scary.
Oh.
But they're in a pen. And I walk towards the village, and some little kids see me and start pointing at me. And then people are talking and they're pointing, and all these people start gathering around. I'm about a couple 100 feet away still. But all these people start gathering around behind the little kids. And they're looking at me. They don't seem to be dangerous. They seem to be very curious about me. And I'm very cautious, but I smile because I want them to know that I'm friendly.
What happens next?
I'm welcomed. There's all these people gathering around.
Wow, you feel welcome.
I think it's because I'm a kid.
Oh.
So I know if I were to see a man, I would be scared. But I think it's because I'm a kid. I'm so much smaller than they are. And they see that I'm by myself. Oh, but some of the men are. The women are welcoming me in. And they're talking, but we don't understand each other. it looks like the men are talking to the women, and the men are talking to each other, and then they go and they get weapons, they get guns, and they're going to scout. So they're going and they're getting into groups of men and they're going in different directions. I see they're worried about being attacked.
Oh.
They're worried that I am not by myself.
Oh.
And that that I might be some sort of a trap.
I see.
They're just being very careful.
Right.
But the women are more motherly. And I think I must be really skinny right now, because I probably spent a few months walking in the forest. And they're making some food. And the kids are gathering around me and they're touching my clothes. They're touching my hair. My hair is super long.
Tell me more.
They gave me a plate of food, and it's warm, which is really nice. It's some kind of cream. I don't know what it is, but it feels really good going down my throat. I don't think I've had grains for a very long time. And so it tastes delicious, and I eat up the whole plate of food.
Tell me more.
I'm sitting there, and there's a woman who's, it's like she's assigned to me.
Oh.
She's kind of a little bit chubbier, and she's got a really kind face, and she's pretty chatty, and of course I don't understand anything that she's saying, but the tone of her chatting is making me feel very comfortable and welcome. Most of the other women have gone back to doing their business. It looks like they're cooking. They're doing things. I don't know what they're doing. Some are tending to the animals. And there's a couple of older men there, but all of the young men have gone out scouting. And this woman, she takes me into one of the little houses.
Oh, tell me more.
They're bigger and nicer than the houses in my village. They're much nicer, they're much bigger. They have a bed. It's like, I think it's made out of wood, and it's got something soft on top of it, like maybe it's pine straw or some kind of some kind of padding, some kind of plant. And she motions to me to the bed. And I can sleep, so I get into the bed. And I fall asleep. Fall asleep and I dream about that man with the beady eyes.
Oh, tell me about that.
I just keep seeing that. I'm trying to figure out how he got thrown off of me. It's confusing to me. Because one minute I was lying on the ground, and he had my hands pinned down, and the next minute this force just seemed to come out of nowhere and catapult him against the rock wall in the cave. And in my dream, I'm seeing that force as almost like a wind power, like a very powerful wind that just pushed him against the wall. And it's like I'm seeing it from the outside, like I'm not on the ground and not me, I'm watching the scene. So I'm not scared, but I'm just seeing this force. And I'm wondering how to harness it.
Tell me more. Do you figure that out?
It's just this idea that came to me in this dream. That maybe I can be so much more powerful.
Wow.
Than I think I am. If I could figure out how to harness that force that saved me.
Right.
I know that force is on my side. Maybe that force was a part of me. Maybe I called that force in.
Wow.
Maybe it was me who actually did that. And if I could figure out how to do it again, then I don't have to worry about that man with the beady eyes or anyone else like him.
Do you figure out how to harness it?
I do. I know I figure it out later in life.
Tell me about that. What do you figure out?
I figure out that there is a way to harness that energy. I don't know how I figure it out, but I know I figure it out.
How do you harness that energy?
I have to do something. I have to be in the right state of mind.
What does that look like?
I'm not sure. I think I'm not sure. It's like, I can't, it doesn't happen when I'm fully conscious.
Okay, so it's in an altered state a little bit.
It's in an altered state, yeah, but I don't know what that altered state is or what it looks like.
Do you have a method to bring yourself into it?
I know that there is one, but I don't know what it is. But I know that there is a method, and I know that it takes me many years to figure out what the method is.
And what's your method after many years of learning?
I don't know. I wish I could know. I know that I know. I just don't know how I got there.
Oh, it's okay. Once you get there, what is it like?
It's so wonderful.
Tell me about it.
Well, because I figure out that it's not just useful for emergency situations, but it actually changes the energy in the environment and around me so that that circumstance never arises. The harmful situation never comes. It's almost like a protective barrier.
Can you move to the point of your life when you fully mastered this in that lifetime? And tell me what it is that you do?
Oh wow, I look like royalty.
Tell me about that.
I just look like a queen. And oh, can you ask that question again?
Oh, sure. Can you move ahead in time in that same lifetime that we're looking at to when you fully mastered this talent to bring in this force? When you fully mastered it, can you be there now and tell me what is it like?
It's okay. It's not something that comes easy. It is something that takes a certain amount of work to do. So, I need to be alone, and I need to be someplace. I don't need to be outside, but I need to be in a place where I'm connected to nature. And I actually prefer to be inside, like inside a house or some sort of shelter where I'm sheltered from the environment, but I know that it's out there and I'm alone. It's not in a city, it's in a shelter somewhere in the forest near the water. It's almost like a pavilion, built especially for this purpose. And I light candles. And I sit in the middle. I have either a circle or a half circle of candles around me. And I do some chanting sounds. And it's kind of similar to the songs that I was humming when I was walking in my journey through the forest. But it's not a specific song. It's like specific notes. And when I can do these notes in varying sequences, then I can, and I'm in the right state of mind. The state of mind has to be calm, no anxiety. I am still, and I'm able to get myself into this state, and then I do this humming, and the humming makes these sounds, and the sound make these vibrations, and I do it in a sequence such that certain vibrations vibrate off of those other vibrations. And when I make these vibrations, I can feel in kind of around my groin area, like a humming vibration that starts to feel this circular, almost like a circular motion, like a wind that starts to spin and create more energy. And that is that power, that is that force, it's that energy. It's almost like a wind that I created through the chanting sounds and being in the right state of mind, in the right environment that doesn't have a lot of outside interference, like there are no sounds, there's nobody talking, there's no other background sound. So it's just the sounds of the forest and the water and my chanting, which creates that energy.
And could you tell me what chants you do? Could you do it now?
I don't know. It's kind of like that.
Oh, keep going.
Do that, the forest gets involved.
Wow.
So there are some kind of insects which will pick up on a certain vibration, and then that insect will also make the sound in that vibration. And then whole forest will hum with me. It's not just me.
Wow.
I just started, and then everyone else gets involved. And for some reason, this is part of a healing force.
Wow, can you tell me about that? What kind of healing force, or what exactly does it do?
It creates a protection. It creates a protection so that like physically from the inside.
Wow.
So it can help against all sorts of different things. Like it can help against diseases. And it can also help against enemies. Because, like it can help against rabid animals.
Because you said every species had a way to protect itself. Is this the human way?
This is the human way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is one way. It's not the only way. But this is one way. And it's through this chanting and through this protective barrier that it can change the energy of that rabid animal so that it is not running towards me or you, but it runs in the other direction.
Wow.
It's like a force field.
And you said that you were able to perfect this, so could you get the same power that you had when that part of you, or that force came through and got that attacker off of you?
Somehow, at that moment, that force just came out. So, I didn't work at harnessing it, but somehow that situation happened so that I could see that there was such a force and that I could then try to figure out a way how to harness that protective force throughout my life. That's what that life was about.
After you learned this, did you teach anyone this? Did you share your knowledge?
I wanted to. But I don't know if there was anyone that I could share it with. I still felt very alone, even when I had that protective force. I feel like I lived that whole life alone.
How did that life end? Can you move ahead in time in that same lifetime to the last moment and be there now? What happened?
I simply died of old age.
What was your life like at the end?
I feel like I was very powerful. I feel like I was in charge. I feel like so many people depended upon me. And that I knew that this was what my life was to be. And I resigned myself to it, yet it still felt like a burden. And throughout my life, there was a sadness because I always wanted to have a companion, but I never did. There were so many people depending upon me to help keep their village safe. And I did that. I did that. All of the people around me they were so happy. They had really safe and secure lives. They had a confidence from having that type of life. There was love, there was fun, there were festivities. And that was what my life was. My life was devoted to allowing that society to thrive in that way. I never found somebody who I could show how to harness that power. And I felt very lonely and very sad. I was hoping that that person would appear to me.
Now that you're on the other side of that life, do you get a sense what the lesson or the purpose was?
The purpose of that life was to show me that there could be a society, a community filled with love, with support, with security, with happiness, without competition, the feeling of there being enough for everybody. That was the purpose. I didn't know that that wasn't possible because my life in the village as a child was, there was love. There wasn't love that I was involved in. In this life, the people in the village at the end of my life, they all loved me, but I was not close to anyone. So I had love from afar, but I never had an intimate love, and that was what my heart's desired.
Was there something that you were supposed to do differently?
Maybe I was supposed to have a family.
Were there any opportunities that you notice now that you're on the other side of that life?
I feel like I had a connection with the boy from my village.
Oh, yeah.
But I never saw him again. I never went back. And the people at the end of my life in that community that I was protecting and creating and ruling over, like I can't really see them, I just see colors.
Mm-hmm.
I see lemon yellow. It was like a lot of golden lemon yellow light.
Mm-hmm.
And the people were happy, but I don't know what they look like. because I spent so much time in my pavilion. I had to work really hard to make sure that they had the community and the life that they had. So I spent a lot of time alone in that pavilion.
No.
Doing my chanting and harnessing that energy. Now that I'm passed away, I don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what will happen to them?
No, I don't know if the protection will last there forever. I don't think it will.
And tell me about that. You said the place was, you protected them?
Yes, with my energy. And when I died, I didn't pass down my knowledge to anyone. I know why I didn't.
Why?
I was scared of coming too close to somebody.
Oh.
I was scared of loving somebody and then I would lose them. So I never let myself become that close. And I knew that to show somebody how to do what I was doing, that it would take years and that I would become very close with that person.
Well, how do you feel now that you're aware of this on the other side of that life?
I feel like I should have found the person to teach that there was somebody, that there was probably more than one person. That actually this is something that anybody can do. And that I was selfish because I thought that I was special. But now, looking from the other side, I could see that this is something that anybody can do. And the greatest gift I could have given to them was to show them how to do it too. That they all could have done it.
Tell me more.
But me showing them how to do it is not the only way for them to learn. Because this community, this village, these people are they're so open and open to receiving that they will very easily understand and figure out how to harness that energy as well. The people in the village, they knew that I was spending time in the pavilion and chanting, so it's not like they didn't know that I was doing something there.
Right.
So they knew that that was part of it. And I think that there's other ways to harness the energy too. I don't think that's the only way.
Were you aware of any other ways?
No, I wasn't. And now I'm thinking, I can see that there were probably easier ways.
Now tell me about the ones you noticed.
Well, I feel like there's, I don't know if I can see the ways. I just know that, I know the feeling is that I chose a harder way and there were easier ways.
Got it. Is there anything else that looks important or interesting about this lifetime from this perspective that you can see it now?
just that being loved by everyone in this community, in that village, wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to fulfill me, that I still felt lonely inside, that I was still looking for a connection.
Oh.
So, devoting my life to giving and serving wasn't enough. It wasn't all that I was supposed to do.
I see.
I was supposed to have a child.
You were?
Yeah.
So just drift and float away from that lifetime, leaving that woman there to continue on her journey. She'll find peace, she'll find what she's supposed to find. Now I'd like the consciousness and personality of Dawn to return. Could I please speak with Dawn's higher self? Now please, do I have permission to speak with Dawn's higher self?
Yes.
I respect the power of the higher self because I know you take care of Dawn's body and you do a very good job of that. And I know you have the records of everything that has ever happened to her. So I respect the power of the higher self, and I always ask for permission to speak to it and ask questions. Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
I know you could have shown her many different things for her to see today. Why did you show her that she wasn't, that really she was supposed to get close to people? Why did you show her this?
I showed her this because Dawn has a barrier around herself. She feels unloved, and she wants people to love her, but she will never truly be loved if she doesn't shed that barrier around herself. So all the people in the world could adore her and love her and think she's amazing, but that is not going to fulfill her soul, because what will be fulfilling will be to have real soul connections with people, with fewer people, not many people, but to have those soul connections to be real. And she is unable to make those soul connections because she has harnessed that power of the protective barrier from that other life and is using it to keep herself protected from any pain whatsoever in this life.
Oh, now that she's aware of it, what do you want her to do?
I want her to shed that protective barrier. I want it to break and fall away into little pieces.
Can you do that now for her, now that she's aware and got the message?
Yes.
Okay, let me know what you're doing.
I hit the protective barrier. It's like a wind, but it's like a very fragile glass too. So I took a hammer and I tapped it until it cracked. And I'm tapping it all the way around. It's like a cylinder. And I tapped it all the way around. And it cracked. And it's fallen away.
Wonderful. Well, moving forward, does she have to worry, though, without this protective barrier? I mean, will it be difficult for her?
No, she does not have to worry.
Is she protected?
She's protected.
Okay, and how will she know she's protected, and what kind of protection does she have without this barrier?
There's no specific thing that will show her that she's protected. She has to believe. She has to have faith.
Okay, and do you promise her that she's protected?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. What was that force that came out of her when it attacked that man?
The force is her life force and power. That is her protection. So she can harness that force. And what she did was she harnessed the force and she used it to create a rigid cylindrical glass barrier. But now that that glass barrier is gone, the force is still within her. It's just a matter of harnessing it in a different way.
Okay. As far as the chanting and that goes and being in an altered state, was this something that she did wrong in that lifetime? Was she not supposed to do that, or could you tell me more?
She was supposed to do that. She was supposed to chant. Just because she chose the hardest way doesn't mean that it was the wrong way. She had to choose the hardest way so that she would learn at the end of her life that there are easier ways and that she doesn't always have to choose the hardest way. The hardest way will lead to the end goal, but there are other easier ways that can lead to that same end goal. So she needs to learn that sometimes she can choose the easier path, and she has to see that there are easier paths.
Well, okay, what's an easier way for her to harness that, a practical way for her to do that?
She can just do that by being silent, by giving herself time, and by dedicating and promising herself and living up to that promise, not breaking it. So giving herself time and space every day, away from her family, away from her work, so that she can spend the time harnessing that power within her.
Okay, and do you have any tips for how she should harness it?
She should breathe deeply. She can chant, but it doesn't need to be in a pavilion, in the forest, away from all other sounds. She can do the chanting, and she can also use some accoutrements to help get those vibrations going.
Like which ones?
Like those metal singing bowls, those Tibetan singing bowls.
Yeah.
She should use those.
Do you want her to use metal ones, or?
I want her to use metal ones.
Okay. All right. Any other things you want her to do? And also, I would like to ask, what will happen if she does this?
If she does this, she dedicates herself to this, she will start to feel the life force and the energy within her. She will start to feel again, and she will start to be able to use that life force and energy to attract the thing that will create even more life force and energy, which are real connections to a few other people who are of similar vibration and life force and who are growing like her.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, well, speaking of connections, what about her husband? She's been thinking about leaving.
She is very conflicted because her husband is the person with whom she has the deepest connection, and her husband has expanded her in ways that she would not have expanded without him. He is an important life force and energy to be in her life. He is lost, but he is on a path to find his way. And he is working towards it, but he keeps getting tripped up on his own self and his own past. He needs to release his past.
Is there anything that Dawn can do to help this?
Her presence and the work that Dawn is doing is helping him because he sees the work that she is doing. But it's something that he needs to do himself. He needs to have a deep commitment to it himself.
Okay. Well, so then you would like her to stay with him? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, alright. Okay, that's good to know. Do you have any other advice with how she should go forward with him?
She should stop enabling him.
Oh, okay.
She should put herself first. She should take care of herself better. She should feed herself and not give the best to her husband and her child.
Oh.
She should spend at least a year putting herself first in all things. And that is the best way that she can show love to her family.
Wow, that's really good to know. That's the best way she can show love to her family is putting herself first. Wow. Let's see. Why is she living in the house where she's living in North Carolina? Is there something there for her?
There is something in that house. There is something powerful in that house. I'm not sure what it is, but she was meant to be in that house for the moment.
Why is there sand in that area?
Because there used to be an ocean there. There used to be an ocean in that area, and it's so obvious because there's sand under all of the pine trees.
Anything else about that you want to tell her?
That this is a temporary home. You're meant to be here for the now, but it is not the place that you're going to be forever. There's something for you to learn there, but I don't know what it is.
Interesting. Will she know when it's time to leave?
Yes.
Could you tell her what was going on with the Rockefellers there and why that town has so much money?
There's something evil there.
Where is the evil? Do you know?
There were some things that were done in that town which are unspeakable.
Like what?
I don't want to see them.
Oh, do you have to see them to tell me?
Oh, yes, because I'm seeing everything that I tell you.
Oh, okay. So some stuff unspeakable happened there? Do you get a sense when?
I think it was in the late 1800s or early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some energy that is trapped there. And the energy needs to be released. And it might be trapped there under the ground. And if the energy is released, that will be a good thing. I don't know why.
Could you release it now?
I'm not sure how to.
Oh. Do you get a sense how the best way to release this energy is?
I feel like there's something with the animals there. There's a lot of deer there. Maybe there's something with the deer that can help do it. Maybe we need to work together.
Can you do that now, or is this something you want her to do?
I really don't know. It feels so big. It feels so big. I'm not sure that she's the person to do it.
Oh. Do you have any suggestions for this?
I don't. It feels like there has to be a shift. That there's going to be a big shift in the plates that will release the energy.
Oh, interesting. When do you see this happening?
I think soon.
Will this affect Dawn in any way?
I think it will feel like a physical release.
Does this affect her for this energy to be released?
Yes.
How? And why?
Somehow she's tied to this energy in the past, and it's something from the past that needs to be released.
Oh. What do you want her to do about that?
I want her to figure out how she is tied to the energy in the ground.
Well, could you tell us?
I'm trying to see something, but I don't see anything. I see darkness. I see a house. It's very dark and big. And there's a party there with a lot of people. And they all go out into the woods. And do some sort of ritual in the woods at nighttime.
What does a ritual look like?
There's a circle. There might be about 20 people. There's men and women. And it feels yucky.
Tell me more.
It feels like this ritual is somehow tied to money.
Oh.
Like it's a ritual that will bring a lot of money. And that's just what I'm seeing, but this is not the the only time. It's like happening all the time in her. These kinds of rituals. And I don't know, there's like maybe some animal sacrifice going on. I see a dog. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. And what part did she play in this? Was she there in any way?
I feel like she was a servant.
And do you get a sense how it affected her?
I think she was very religious, and she believed that they were doing Satan worshiping.
Were they or no?
I don't know. I don't know what these people believed in. I can see that they believe in ritual. I can see that they believe in animal sacrifice.
Well, does she need to carry over this energy for any reason?
No, she doesn't. I don't know why she's taking it with her.
Oh, now that she's aware, can you release it from her? Can you get rid of it for her now?
Yeah.
Thank you. What are you doing to do that?
I'm brushing it off of her with my hand.
Is she?
Like this thick soot, like fireplace soot, and I'm just like, it's embedded in her clothes and her hair, and I'm just like patting her and getting it all off.
Oh, awesome. Let me know when you're done doing that.
Oh my God, there's so much. It's just like the socks and her knickers and her hat.
Well, what about her current lifetime?
Does she have soot?
No.
It's gone.
Oh, okay. All of it?
I think all of it's gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay, thank you. Can you do a scan of her body? What is the very root cause of her vision getting blurry? The very root cause. What happened?
She was lying to herself. She was lying to herself and everyone around her. She was pretending to be someone who she was not. And her eyes were trying to tell her to wake up.
Oh. What else were they what were they saying exactly? What were they telling her exactly?
They were telling her to take responsibility for your actions, to take responsibility for your life. They were telling her to stop blaming everyone else for your problems and to start taking responsibility and believing in yourself. They were telling her to try to find your own power instead of trying to latch on to other people's power.
Oh, does she understand this now?
She understands this now. It's been a very long journey for her. I've tried telling her so many times.
How did you try telling her?
Through her eyes. She's had so many opportunities.
Well, okay, how was she supposed to get the message? It's hard to hear the higher self sometimes. Like when you showed her that message with her eyes, what was she supposed to do?
She was supposed to retreat. She was supposed to... She lost all of the people who she thought were friends, and this was the time for her to go inside and to start learning about herself, and to start learning about her ability to heal herself. She was going to see all of these doctors, and she was giving them all of her power, and she never had the realization that if she believed that these other people could heal her, that she could heal herself.
How can she heal herself, or what was she supposed to learn?
It was a poke. It was like a poke to her body to stop listening to all the noise, to stop trying to please everyone else, and to go into herself, whatever it is, by studying or going to the library, and to start learning all of those techniques yourself.
Well, now that she got the message, can you release this and heal her eyes for her now that she got the message, she understands what it was?
Yes.
What are you doing to heal her eyes?
I'm harnessing that power, which is like an energy force, and I'm swishing it around her head. It's not around her eyes, but also around her hands and around her feet. The stigmatism in her eyes is also connected to the pain in her ankles and the pain in her hands.
And how is it connected?
Because one can only work through the eyes for so long, and Dawn was not getting it.
Oh.
She wasn't responding, so I had to go to other places. I had to go to the ankles because she likes to walk. I had to go to her hands because that's her work. I'm making it painful for her to work because she will not leave her job. And so I'm trying to make it as painful for her as possible, and she has not been listening to me.
Okay. Okay, well now that she got the message, does she need it anymore? Does she need the message anymore?
She needs the message.
Does she not receive it enough?
She didn't receive it enough.
Okay, what exactly does she need to do?
She needs to quit her job.
Oh, that's what she needs to do?
She needs to quit her job.
Okay, well how can she do that?
The only way she can do it... Okay, this is it.
Oh.
She needs to spend some time harnessing her force and her power that she learned in that other way.
Oh.
She needs to find an easier way to harness it. She doesn't need to spend 10 hours a day chanting in a pavilion with all of the earth's creatures. She needs to find a way to harness it that she can do in half an hour to 45 minutes a day. She needs to spend some time doing that. Once she starts to spend some time doing that, she will be in a place where she has faith and where she is able to feel like she can surrender without falling. Once she gets to the point where she can surrender without falling, that will be the time for her to leave her job. And she will have faith that something else will come. Whatever it is, she just needs to be open and to not have a plan or design, but to just let it come and listen to her gut.
Well, now that she got that message and she understands the plan, can you release the pain for her now?
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Thank you. Let me know when you're done doing that. Okay, is there anything you want her to do about the discomfort if she notices it?
Drink water.
How much water is good for her?
More than what she's drinking.
How much more?
At least 4 glasses more.
Well, okay. Will you continue to work on her body?
I will continue to work on her body. I'm still working on her hands.
Oh, how long will it take, do you think?
I think it'll take a few weeks.
Okay, right. What about the Hashimoto's? What is going on with that?
That's gone.
Oh, okay. What about the stomach issues?
That will go away too.
Okay. Alright, do you want her to be on hormone therapy?
Yes.
Okay. What was happening with her body? Why were her hormones out of whack?
Her hormones were out of whack because I don't know why. I don't know why.
Can you scan her body and find out?
Okay. Her hormones were out of whack because she was in a mindset of getting older and being old and feeling like she was looking old.
Well, does she need this anymore?
She doesn't need it. Nobody needs it.
Well, can you reverse this? Can you, rejuvenate her hormones?
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing to do that?
I'm putting my hands over her whole body from the top. Not on her, but just over her. The top, all down slowly to her feet.
And I just have a question. How do you put your hands on her? Like, where are you in relation to her?
I'm over her, kind of like floating on top of her.
Who are you then, exactly? How would you describe yourself?
I am Earth's healer. I am a female force energy healer. And my job, my role, is to help heal people who are having trouble healing themselves.
Can anyone call on you?
Anyone can call on me.
Well, how can people believe this?
They have to believe it. If they don't believe it, I will never be in their orbit.
Oh, is it just as simple enough as believing it?
It's as simple enough as believing it, but it's more complicated than saying you believe it and not feeling it.
Right.
You have to believe it and truly, in your heart and soul, believe it. And you have to release cynicism.
I love it. Okay, thank you for that. Well, why do women go through menopause? Like, what do you want to tell her? Because she said she went through menopause and now she's having hot flashes and has to get on the hormone therapy. Is this not the case? Or is this something that you want to tell her about?
Part of the reason why women go through menopause is to help them come to terms emotionally with the idea that they can no longer bear children. For some women, this idea is more difficult than others. For Dawn, this was very difficult because she got pregnant very early and had abortions, and she seemed to be very fertile. And then later in life, she wanted a child very badly. And there was a hope in her that she would have another child. And so menopause in this situation, and for other women who have a very deep hope to bear more children, because that love that they felt, that high that they had from having a baby on them the first year or two of their life, they want to replicate that. It's very difficult to let go of that. And so the process of menopause helps them go through the process of emotional release so that they can release that deep yearning and that deep feeling and create more room and space within themselves to allow the other gifts of life to come.
Oh, well, what about hot flashes?
Hot flashes are part of that process. Hot flashes are uncomfortable reminders to the women that this is something that is not to be taken lightly, that this is not something that you can just go to sleep and forget about and then go about your day the next day. Dawn had so many hot flashes because she is dense and she needs a lot of poking and prodding to get to the place of where she needs to be. A lot of women don't have that density and they're able to follow the cues more readily than she was.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, now that she got the cues, does she need the hot flashes?
She doesn't need the hot flashes. She's had so much anger and victim mentality in her life, and she needs to release that. She says that she wants a joyful life, and this is part of the path to joy, is releasing it's not just the anger, but it's also the hot flashes are flashes of the resentment that you have absorbed in your body, both from your own life and from other lives, and that have been kept there within the cells and stuck within the muscles. And when there is a lot of accumulation of that, the person will have more hot flashes because there is more to release.
Wow. Thank you for that. Okay, but thank you. Okay. Well, that answered that question. Well then, just out of curiosity, do all women need hormone therapy? Because, I mean, what is the deal with the hormones changing?
I wish I knew the answer to
that. Okay, well, does Dawn, you were saying that you can regulate Dawn's hormones, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Why did her hormones go out of whack?
Her hormones have been out of whack her entire life because starting from about the age of 5 or 6, because she never had moments of pure love and security. And when a child has moments of pure love and security, even if it's not all the time, it doesn't need to be continual, but they have to have moments of that in order for their hormone regulation processes to work. And throughout their life, as they get more programming and absorb more information, that those moments of pure love and security from the time they were an infant and their baby help them regulate their hormones later in life. So the ones who never had those moments as a child or as an infant, or who had very few of their moments, will have more struggles later on in their life with dysregulated hormones, and they will have more intense menopausal situations than people who have had love and security from that time of infancy.
That's really interesting. Well, why did she have that type of upbringing? Was there some reason behind it? Was there a purpose for it?
The purpose of that type of upbringing is for her to realize that she cannot get 100% satisfaction and feeling of joy in life through others on the outside. It has to start within herself. And she has been looking on the outside for her whole entire life for other people to make her feel good or make her feel worthy. And when they don't, she absorbs that and feels unworthy. And so the purpose of this difficult life is for her to find love for herself.
Wow.
Love of herself.
How is she doing with that? Is she learning?
She has been learning the past couple of years.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. That's very interesting. Thank you for that. Why is her cat waking her up at night? What's going on with her cat?
Her cat is trying to tell her something.
What? Can you tell me what her cat is trying to tell her?
I think her cat is paralleling what Dawn is going through. I think her cat is feeling the hot flashes, and I think her cat has also been looking at Dawn and others, her brothers, and others around her life to make her feel good. And her cat too needs to go in towards herself and find love within herself to find true peace.
Oh, well, now that Dawn is healing, will this affect her cat in any way?
Yes, because they are vibrating off of each other constantly, because her cat sleeps on Dawn's chest.
Oh, that's beautiful. Can you send her cat healing and send this message to her cat? Is this something you need Dawn to tell her cat? How does that work?
I'm going to work on this, on sending healing to her cat right now.
Thanks. Let me know when you're done. Okay, what is her soul's purpose in this lifetime?
This is very tricky. I cannot see her soul's purpose.
Why?
She has blocked it.
Oh, is there a purpose for this block there?
There is, but I cannot see the purpose for the block.
Oh.
Her soul's purpose is something. Okay, I can see what the feeling is. The feeling is community. So something about her soul's purpose is to generate a feeling of community. And she thought her soul's purpose was to be an artist, and she thought of an artist as a very solitary existence. And I'm not sure if her soul's purpose is to be an artist, but it is not to have a solitary existence. It is to have an existence in community.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you have any advice on how she can fulfill her purpose?
She should do the steps that I talked about earlier, which is to spend 30 to 45 minutes a day to harness her power. Once she's able to start harnessing her power and working on maintaining it, then the path to her soul's purpose will be presented to her. She doesn't need to do anything to look for it. It will come.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. Is she meant to do art?
Yes.
Is there anything about that you want to tell her?
That she's meant to do art, and right now she is very blocked because she hasn't done it in so long. And so she needs to just practice being expressive in different mediums. There is no script for how to do it, but when it feels, she just needs to train herself like the same way that you train yourself to learn a language. You just sit there and you make a schedule and you do a little bit every day, and within that exercise and that meditative piece of moving your hand with a brush or working with clay or whatever it is, within that process will come feelings of bliss, and ideas will start to come. And once that first idea comes, it will start to snowball and more ideas will come. It will not be a struggle. It may be a little bit difficult in the beginning to get into the routine, but think of it like any other routine, like getting your kid up to go to school. You do it.
Okay. What do you want to tell her about Nova? Do you have any advice on how she should raise Nova?
To be more gentle. That Nova is a very open soul, and to not make the mistakes that your parents made with you. To do not shut her out, and to speak to Nova on her level, and to do things that Nova enjoys doing, not just things that you want to do.
That's really good advice. Why did she have that experience on the whitewater with rafting?
She had that experience to bring her closer to her husband.
Oh. Oh, good. Okay, now that she knows that, can you release the any residual effects of that? Can you release the fear she's carried from there?
She drowned before.
Oh.
That is what that was. She was reliving that drowning. She had that drowning before, and she was reliving it because it was familiar to her.
Okay.
She should release that.
Okay, can you release that for her now?
And maybe she used to live in the ocean.
Oh, that's amazing. Anything about that you want to tell her?
That just because you go into the water or the ocean, that doesn't mean you will get sucked up and that the water will suck you up into another life and you will leave this life. It doesn't mean that. You can enjoy the comfort and the familiarity and the smells of the ocean without getting sucked into another life.
Okay, that's good to know. Why did she find my book? Why did you have her do that?
Because the time was right, and she has been cynical her whole life, and she has been a victim her whole life, and now is the time for her to expand her mind and realize that this world that we're living in is not the only world that there is. It's not the only world in this existence, and that there are many other existences. And she found your book because it was in that medium at that particular time that she was most receptive to it. If she had read it 2 years ago, she would have thought it was silly. But she was at the exact right time and understanding in her evolution to expand her mind with new information that had been, some of it had been hinted at to her in the past couple of years, but she was cynical, and it was the first time that she was able to just absorb it and truly believe that everything is possible and is not a coincidence.
Wow. Is there any other reason why you had her get a session? Is there any more information you would like to tell her?
There's something more from the past life that is blocking her. But I don't know what it is. But it's a different past life than what she spoke about today.
Well, it's good she knows about this now. And does she need to carry over something to block her from a different lifetime? Now that she's in a totally different lifetime, does she need this block there?
She doesn't.
Can you release it since she's in a different lifetime now?
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Thank you. Let me know when you're done. Okay, will you continue working on her after this?
Yes.
Do you have any final messages for her?
Yes. She needs to step into the fear or release the fear. She needs to do something big, drastic in her life because she has been on a repeat for so many years. Her eye, she had an eye issue and then it went away and then it came back and then it went away and then it came back. This is the pattern because she has not been progressing or changing. So she needs to do something a little bit more radical.
Okay, like what?
She needs to move to another country.
Oh, when?
When her time in Southern Pines is over. I'm not sure when that is, but it'll know when the place starts feeling not right.
Okay. Okay, well, now that she's aware of that,
she might need to move into a totally different career that she's never even given a thought to.
Can you help her with this?
Her mind needs more expanding.
And you told her what the steps were. Is there any other step that you're wanting to tell her?
She needs to meet some people. She needs to meet some new people and put herself out to try to develop friendships or relationships with. And through those relationships, the next steps will become more clear.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for all the messages you've given